This incredible story happened in the USA. A garbage man came to Joshua Burns' house twice a week. Joshua had recently adopted a golden retriever named Shelby from an animal shelter. Shelby was a fearful dog with a traumatic past and was therefore wary of strangers. Whenever the garbage man came, Shelby would bark violently at him. The garbage man also had his fears. He was afraid of dogs and made sure to keep a safe distance while quickly emptying the Burns' trash cans. Although Shelby barked, she never approached him. Every time he arrived at the Burns' house, she was outside, her barking echoing through the neighborhood. The garbage man always did his job diligently, but worked quickly and didn't want to mess with Shelby. One day, as the garbage man was hastily emptying the Burns' trash cans, he felt something brush against his legs. He froze, fearing that the dog had finally approached him. When he turned around, he saw Shelby sitting in front of him, eyes curious and wary. Startled by the unexpected encounter, he jumped back into his garbage truck. In his job, the garbage man saw a lot of dogs, but he always managed to avoid them. He had never met another neighborhood dog who was so hostile towards him, and then suddenly sat next to him. But things were about to get even stranger. Later that week, when the garbage man returned, Shelby was already waiting at the curb. This time, she didn't bark. It was as if she sensed his fear and decided to give him a chance. After all, she was scared too. The garbage man hesitantly stroked her head before retreating to his cart. He hadn't touched a dog in many years, having been bitten by one as a child. The fear of being hurt by a dog followed the garbage collector into adulthood. Although he petted Shelby, he had no desire to befriend the golden retriever, but he was very curious about the sudden change in the dog's behavior. Weeks passed like this. Shelby never tried to touch the garbage man. She seemed to understand his fear and respected his boundaries. The garbage man, in turn, began to appreciate Shelby's calm demeanor and patience. He knew Shelby could sense his fear. He admired how she allowed him to do things at his own pace and never pressured him into anything he didn't want to. But one day, when the garbage man pulled up to the Burns' house, something was different. Shelby sat and waited as usual, but this time the garbage man got out of the car with his fists clenched. Sensing his discomfort, Shelby backed away. She had gotten used to the garbage man's caution towards her. But he had never shown any hatred or violence towards Shelby, and because of her own sad past, she knew what closed fists could mean. She was suspicious. The garbage man approached Shelby, both fists still closed tightly. What he did next was shocking. The garbage man sensed that Shelby was afraid and knelt on the ground to loosen his fist. He placed his hands on the floor in front of him so Shelby could see them. He held dog treats in one hand and a new ball in the other. Shelby hesitated for a moment before running over to him to accept the treat and ball, her tail wagging in joy. From that day on, every time the garbage man visited the Burns' house, he took a few minutes to pet and play with Shelby. It was the highlight of his week, and Shelby loved her new friend. But the story had an unexpected twist. Unbeknownst to the garbage collector, Joshua Burns had captured these heartwarming moments on his security camera. Joshua had become curious as to why Shelby had stopped barking at the garbage man. Knowing that Shelby was extremely suspicious of other people, he wanted to see what happened between her and the garbage man. As he reviewed the footage, he was deeply moved by what he saw. In a world where everyone seems to be in a rush, the garbage man took the time to interact with Shelby. But the story didn't end there. The next time the garbage man arrived at the Burns' house, he was greeted not only by Shelby, but also by Joshua. With a warm smile on his face, Joshua shook hands with the garbage man and expressed his gratitude for his connection with Shelby. What Joshua then revealed is incredible. He told the garbage man the heartbreaking story of Shelby's past, how she came out of an animal shelter scarred by the traumatic experiences that had made her distrustful of all people. As Joshua talked, the garbage man listened intently. He realized how much Shelby was struggling and how much courage she needed to regain her trust. At that moment, the garbage man became fully aware of the consequences of his actions. Not only had he made friends with a dog, But he had given Shelby a chance to heal from her traumatic experiences, to feel loved, and to trust again. Touched by Joshua's heartfelt words, the garbage man shared his own story and the deep-seated fear that had haunted him since childhood. He confided in Joshua about the traumatic incident in which he was bitten by a dog, an experience that had made him afraid of dogs ever since. Just the sight of a dog sent shivers down his spine and triggered anxiety and panic attacks. Joshua listened empathetically and recognized the courage the garbage man needed to face his fears on a daily basis, especially in a job where encounters with dogs were inevitable. He was impressed by the garbage man's determination to complete his duties despite his phobia. No one would have ever thought that the golden retriever with a bad start in life would help a garbage collector overcome a great fear. Nor could anyone have imagined that the garbage man's simple kindness could mean so much to Shelby and her new owner.